Today, I'm going to be reacting to week number 3 of the 2025 NFL season. The ball is on the 25, and it is 1st and 10. Yes, it is just me. Unfortunately, my co-host, I should say, Cade Rathbone, is not in town. He will be back hopefully next Monday. So, unfortunately, you guys are stuck with just me for this one. All that said, week 3 of the NFL season was pretty interesting. We had a couple of really interesting matchups. So we're going to go ahead and cover week 3 of the NFL season, starting off with the Buffalo Bills versus the Miami Dolphins. This was a Thursday night football game. So this happened a few days ago. So we'll keep this one brief because we've all already had time to watch videos and talk about this game. This is just a dominant performance for the Buffalo Bills. I thought Miami put in a better effort than they did in past weeks, but all in all, Josh Allen and that Bills offense and defense made enough plays to pull out the victory here. This game was never particularly too close. There was never any sort of moment where I felt, oh, Miami might win this game. It always felt like Miami was eventually going to let go of the rope, and they did. A late interception from Tua, some mistakes throughout the game, some missed opportunities. Buffalo, on the other hand, just handled their business, did their job. They made Tua work for every little yard. I mean, everything looked difficult for Miami, whereas for Buffalo, things just came really easy for them. They made plays. Josh Allen didn't really play like Superman in this game, and they still put up 31 points. James Cook's a star. That offensive line is really good, and that defense helps them out a ton. So Buffalo gets the win here. They are now 3-0 on the season, and for Miami, 0-3, and you got to have the conversation now about what the future is for this Dolphins franchise moving forward. I think this team is going to start to win games here soon because their schedule is actually not too difficult looking forward. So if you are a Miami Dolphins fan, you can at least bank on the fact this team could get on a bit of a roll here these next few weeks, maybe get close to 500. And then if you're optimistic, you can go from there. I don't think this Dolphins team is all that good, so I don't have that much hope. Moving over to a blowout, 48-10, Minnesota dominates the Cincinnati Bengals. This, not a lot to cover here with this one. This was just a dominant performance from start to finish. Minnesota handled this game. They scored, I think, 34 points by the first half. Carson Wentz only threw for, I think, 173 yards, and they still won the game. I mean, this was just a dominant performance from Minnesota. 2 defensive touchdowns, 5 turnovers, 3 fumbles, and 2 interceptions. Really, there's no negative here for Minnesota outside of some penalties that hurt them, and they weren't the most efficient on 3rd down. Cincinnati has a lot of work to do. The Cincinnati Bengals are not a good team. They're simply put a poorly coached team with poor personnel, a bad quarterback. The only good thing about this team is they have a couple stars in a couple positions, but surrounding those guys is just nothing of value. On the offensive end, poor offensive line, poor running backs, poor quarterback right now because of Joe Burrow. On the defensive side, a sus secondary. You have a couple guys here and there, but they can't stuff the run at a high level. This is just a bad Bengals team. And without Joe Burrow carrying this roster, they have no shot of winning a ton of games. For Minnesota, I know there's going to be some conversations online about, oh, Carson Wentz is a better quarterback than J.J. McCarthy. They should bench McCarthy for Carson Wentz. I'm not there yet. Let's see J.J. McCarthy return from this injury, get back on track, get the start, and let's see if he can make some things work there. So all in all, good win here for Minnesota. They're 2-1 on the year. They got back on track. Let's see if McCarthy can go next week or if they decide to stick it out with Wentz. Wouldn't be surprised if they stuck it out with Wentz for one more week. Let's go and move over to an AFC South matchup here between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Houston Texans. I'll keep this one brief on regards to Jacksonville, but I really want to talk about the Houston Texans. For Jacksonville, you got the win. Really, you should be 3-0 on the season because you let the Bengals with Jake Browning win despite him throwing multiple interceptions. Regardless, though, they're 2-1. They get a huge win versus a division rival in the Houston Texans. They have a lot of flaws, though, and I mean a lot of flaws. They simply put do not have high-level quarterback play right now. I don't know if they have elite personnel on the roster. Travis Hunter feels like he's sort of all over the place with this team right now. They have not found a really good spot for him. And so, yeah, this is it's a promising win. You're happy you got the win, but I don't necessarily feel like you're feeling fantastic about it. You put up 17 points. Your defense played well, but they went up against probably the worst offense in the NFL. Liam Cohen has some things to figure out, but you are 2-1. The Texans don't look good right now, so you have a chance to maybe get second. And if Indianapolis falters a little bit, maybe you could win the division if you start to pick things up. We'll see, though. I'm not feeling too great about Jacksonville. Now for Houston, boy, this is a disappointing start. 0-3 on the season, and three not promising looking games. They look great defensively. They are putting up good numbers defensively. They are holding teams to less than 20 points, keeping the offense in it for as long as possible. They're making turnovers. They're getting stops against the run. They're getting stops against the pass. The defense looks as advertised. But boy, the regression of this offense since Stroud's rookie season is a study that needs to be done. I mean, the offensive line has gotten worse every single year for this Houston Texans team. They don't utilize their young rookies the way they should. They don't use motion. It looks like a vintage offense out there. Every yard looks difficult. They don't have explosive playmakers on the outside of Nico Collins. And the guys that have some explosive elements to their game, they're not using them properly. And then let's talk about the offensive line. It's probably the worst offensive line in the entire NFL. Stroud is sitting back there and he's getting pressured every single play. He looks so unconfident right now in stepping in the pocket. The second he sees a player on the defensive line break down an offensive lineman or even get to his shoulder or whatever, just make a move, Stroud is like panicking. And it's because he has no faith in that offensive line. He's rolling out when he doesn't have to. He's not stepping into throws. He's making bad decisions. His processing is just not there right now. I mean, this is a quarterback now through 3 years of his career that has had bad offensive line play every single year. And you just watch the film of his rookie season and how confident he was in stepping up into muddy pockets and all those things. Now this year, it's like, man, his confidence is shot, and I don't blame the guy. This offense stinks. They don't have anything going for them right now, and I don't really see a silver lining. I don't see how this one gets better. Apologize, it's just me, so I might be drinking water throughout. All right, Indianapolis versus Tennessee, 41-20. Indy gets the win. Another AFC South matchup here, and Indianapolis is the real deal. I know this is the Tennessee Titans, and we can talk about the legitimacy of this win, but they got the win last week. They got the win in week 1. I don't think Indianapolis is going to go 17-0 and win the Super Bowl or anything like that, but they're 3-0, and I think they're the best team in the division, and I don't really think it's all that close right now. Indianapolis has dudes on defense that are balling, creating turnovers. They have guys on offense who are explosive, can win downfield, an excellent tight end, an incredible running back who made some incredible runs, a damn good offensive line, and the most shocking one of all, a quarterback in Daniel Jones who's competent, who's actually good, which if you guys have been watching the podcast or my personal channel, MetroSports YT, check it out in the description below, you guys will know that I was not high on Daniel Jones as QB1. I was calling for Anthony Richardson to start. Boy, was I wrong. Daniel Jones looks damn impressive, man. He looks really good, looks comfortable. He's making plays with his legs. I mean, he was making some plays out there today where he's breaking down dudes in the pocket, making guys miss, throwing the ball down the field. Like, the difference in Daniel Jones in New York to Daniel Jones with the Colts it's extreme. It's so fun to watch Daniel Jones play football right now. That's something I never thought I'd say. This one specifically, it was against Tennessee, so you can only take so much from it, but a win's a win, and they look really good. They didn't stumble here. There were some teams we're going to talk about here in a little bit that stumbled. This Colts team did not stumble. Now for Tennessee, this was the expected blowout that was going to come eventually. They've been competitive these past few weeks, but a couple things don't go their way, and the game sort of ends up being, a score that wasn't particularly close, especially at the Rams game. This one, it was never really close. Indianapolis came out, scored 17. By halftime, it was 20-6. Then they got a bigger lead in the third. Cam Ward had a bad pick six. It was one of those plays where he tried to dump it off to his flat, and a great play by I think it was Kenny Moore. So yeah, I thought outside of that though, I thought Cam made some plays. I thought they were competitive, and the good thing is, look, this Titans team isn't going to do much this year. They might win 4 or 5, maybe 6 games at most. But the thing you want to see from this Titans team is just them be competitive, them keep trying, putting in that effort. I still don't think Brian Callahan's a great coach. I think he should be fired after this year. But give Cam Ward credit. He's definitely at least trying. Let's go and move over now to the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Washington Commanders. Raiders mostly have most of their guys. A couple of issues here and there. Washington, on the other hand, was short-handed here, starting Marcus Mariota at quarterback. No Jaden Daniels. and they won 41-24. A lot to talk about with this game. The biggest one being this Raiders offense is not as advertised. I thought this offense was going to be better. I thought the offensive line was going to be better. I thought Geno Smith was going to play better. Unfortunately, that just has not been the case. Geno's, he didn't have any turnovers in this game, but he just doesn't look as comfortable in the pocket. I kind of feel bad for Geno. Geno hasn't had a good offensive line his entire time while he's been doing this resurgence. And even with the New York Jets, he's never had a great offensive line. But they can't get Genty going because the offensive line can't create holes. When they do give him a hole, he's making a play out of it, but it's very few and far between. They have outside playmakers in Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers, who are stars, but they're struggling to get the ball to them because they're a one-dimensional team, and teams can just sit back and double both those guys, make life hard for them, and they got to find ways to get them the ball. Trey Tucker had a great game, I think, as a result of Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers being phased out of the offense. Geno Smith got sacked multiple times. The Commanders don't have an elite pass rush, but they have very good gap integrity, and they can send Frankie Louvu there too to sort of muck it up a little bit there. But the amount of times this Raiders offensive line and the Commanders defensive line just sort of surrounded Geno, and Geno, almost like a Venus flytrap in a way, just kind of got eaten alive in the pocket. It was actually quite satisfying for Commanders fans, but not for Raiders fans. And the Raiders defense sucks too. They suck. I don't really think that this was their fault this week, but they gave up 41 points to Marcus Mariota, so not a good look. As for the Commanders, look, last week was quite embarrassing versus Green Bay, but they had extra time off to prepare for this game. No Jaden Daniels, and I think they made a statement here. I thought defensively they played well. Offensively, they made plays. They got a bunch of running backs going in this one. It's going to be a committee back there, and I'm really intrigued to see who ultimately wins that one. That role, Krasky Merritt, McNichols, Rodriguez. We'll see how all that goes. All in all, though, big win for the Commanders just to get back on track. Unfortunately, the Eagles did win the game, so for the Commanders, you did not get a little bit of help there, but they get the win. They're back on track. Let's see if Daniels can go next week. Speaking of the Philadelphia Eagles win 33-26 versus the LA Rams. Now, don't let the score fool you. The LA Rams had a game-winning field goal, and then they got blocked, and then it got returned for a touchdown. So really the score was, I think 27-26 would have been the actual score. So take that as you will. This was a nice performance from the Philadelphia Eagles. It started off as bad as it could get. Conservative play calling. They could not run the ball. No passing attack. I think Hurts had like 17 yards passing at halftime, which was just bad. But then they unlocked something there in the second half, primarily A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown was bigger, stronger, and better than every single corner that L.A. could throw at him. I don't know why L.A. kept giving him man on or single coverage. I would have double teamed him every play because, dude, like when it was a curl or anything deep, A.J. Brown was just punking these dudes, and he did it over and over and over again, and it was nice to see A.J. Brown really get going. That was the difference here for Philadelphia. In the first half, they were super conservative. They weren't pushing the ball down the field, and then they started to do it. They started to push the ball down the field, take advantage of LA's unspectacular secondary, and they had big chunk plays. They were moving the ball with ease. Next thing you know, some rushing things opened up. Saquon didn't have a great game, and to be honest with you, Saquon hasn't had a great season so far. It's felt like maybe there's been some regression there with the running game. Not sure if it's his fault or the coordinator's fault, but they need to get him going with some bigger explosive plays. If this is what I think it is, if this is the Eagles figuring out their passing attack, watch out, because this Eagles team is good. They're still as talented as they were last year. The reason why I've been a bit pessimistic on them so far this year was because everything looked difficult on offense. They could not pass the ball consistently. When Jalen Hurts was dropping back, nothing was open. If they can get this deep downfield passing attack going with their tush push, with their run game, with this offensive line, which is a bit banged up right now, this Eagles team will win a lot of games. They get the come from behind win here. Again, LA was up big. LA probably should have won this game. They had to settle for a ton of field goals. They had the blocked field goal late. They had opportunities. This is just a missed opportunity here for LA. Like, they should have won this game, and they should have won this game handily. I think they had a really poor second half. Great first half, but they just couldn't score. They would move the ball all the way down the field, penalty, maybe a missed opportunity here and there, and had to settle for field goals. It was really frustrating for them. This one feels like they let a big win out the door. So for LA, it's going to be tough to bounce back from this one because they probably should have won this game. For Philadelphia, that second half gives me a ton of optimism moving forward that they might just be getting back on track. Moving on, Carolina gets a dominant win, 30-0 versus the Atlanta Falcons. Turnovers for Atlanta hurt them in this one. Penix had 2 interceptions as well as a fumble lost. They were 5 of 13, 0 for 3 on fourth down, 5 of 13 on third down. Carolina offensively didn't really do that much. They weren't that impressive. They only had 224 total yards, 3 for 11 on third down, only 15 first downs. That was actually less than Atlanta, but they made plays. They have made some defensive plays. They made some special teams plays. This was a very good team performance from Carolina. The offense only had 1 turnover. They only punched the ball 3 times. They held the time possession advantage in this one. And defensively, they set up their offense in plus territory. They made plays. They scored some stuff. I mean, they really helped out this team. And this is the first time in probably Bryce's entire career that he wasn't the reason why they won a game or wasn't the reason why the game was competitive. For the first time, maybe in his entire career, his defense won him the game. So shout out to the Panthers defense. Hopefully they can build off of this one and continue to just get better from this. On the flip side of things, the Atlanta Falcons have to figure it out. I was a fan of the Raheem Morris hire, and the longer this experience or this experiment is going, the more I'm becoming more cautious with it, because they started off their tenure making the Kirk Cousins signing. And then they also just drafted Michael Penix. So that right there was already kind of a red flag. Then last year, Kirk Cousins struggled, and that was another red flag. So then they benched him, threw Penix out there, and then Penix showed life. Here we are now through 3 weeks, and Penix hasn't looked bad necessarily, but he doesn't look explosive, and he just probably played his worst game in his Atlanta Falcons career. So it feels like they have to figure things out. They need to unlock some more explosive plays downfield, because right now everything looks difficult. Everything looks methodical. And when you watched Michael Penix at Washington, man, he was throwing bombs. He was going deep, intermediate stuff, crossers, stuff of that nature. With this Falcons team, it's go through your progression, screens, hit the underneaths, occasionally Drake London deep or Drake London in the middle. They need to unlock some things down the field, because that's really where Penix thrives. This was a good example of a Panthers team just having a team's number. And they had success against them last year too. Let's not forget that. So this was a trap game for Atlanta, and they failed. They failed mightily. So bad loss here for Atlanta. And what was a potentially great opportunity for them to go 2-1 and start to build on the rest of their season. But they get a loss here, and I don't really know how to feel about this team right now, because I don't know. This was just a bad performance. They got to figure things out. A long season ahead, though. The season's not over, but getting 30-piece by Carolina and scoring a donut, not a good look. Let's move over to Pittsburgh versus the New England Patriots. Probably the most normal game of the week. I mean, even this game wasn't normal because there was a total of 6 turnovers, but so many like shenanigans went on, or comebacks or blowouts. This was the one like back and forth game that actually made sense. If you guys watched our predictions video for this week, you guys would know that the reason why I picked the Pittsburgh Steelers was because I was talking about experience and knowing situational awareness. And I think I nailed it. This was a game where Pittsburgh was, just not great offensively. 200 total yards, or 203 to be exact, which was 166 yards less than New England. New England outpassed them. They outran them. More yards per play. Had 71 total plays to 49. Had 9 more first downs. Had 3 less punts. Yet Pittsburgh wins the game. New England dominated this game in almost every category, except for 1. 5 turnovers to 1. 4 fumbles, a couple of those were from Drake May, and 1 interception thrown. This Steelers defense has gotten a lot of criticism the past few weeks, primarily from this guy. I've been very difficult on them, but I'll give them their flowers. When you get 5 turnovers, you're doing something right. Looked like TJ Watt found a bit of a groove here. Granted, there were some times where New England was throwing a tight end at him. What are we doing there? Don't understand that. But TJ Watt got going here with this one. He made some nice tackles, some nice sacks. Had, I think, a fumble recovery too. It was just turnovers. I mean, turnovers killed this Patriots in offense, and there was multiple times where they drove down the field, were in plus territory just to fumble the ball, and that gave Pittsburgh the ball right back with a chance to eat up some clock and maybe go down and score. And again, this comes down to one team having a bit more experience, but maybe more importantly, situational awareness. When Rodgers had pressure in the pocket, what did he do? He threw it to his check down, or he threw the ball away. For Drake May, this young quarterback that is learning how to process quicker, there was times where he would dance in the pocket, try to make a play, fumble. Next thing you know, Pittsburgh has a chance to go down and put up some points. That hurt the New England Patriots. I'm not worried about New England. I'm not worried about Drake May. Drake May looks good. It's just the nuanced things he has to get down, and he will. He'll play better than what he did this week. So I'm not worried about New England. They're a developing team. They're getting things right. For Pittsburgh, it was nice to see this defense ball out, but the offense still is shaky. I mean, they looked good in week 1, but it was against the Jets. Week 2, they did not look good. Week 3, I mean, they won the game. Defense looked great, but the offense really struggled in this one. I don't feel great about this Steelers team. They've won games against, let's be honest, not great opponents. And I don't know, they haven't passed any test for me yet. I want to see them go up against the Baltimore and play them close. Go up against a good squad and beat them or make it a close game. I think we'll learn more about Pittsburgh here in the future. I still don't know how I feel about them. As for New England, I know what I'm going to get from them. They're going to win 7 or 8 games this year and look really promising in some, make a lot of mistakes in others, which is totally fine. All right, moving forward. Green Bay versus the Cleveland Browns. If you had the Browns winning this game, if you put money on it, shout out to you, because I sure as hell did not. I had Green Bay winning this one, and I thought they were going to dominate. Just an ugly performance for Green Bay. Now, I want to say this. Cleveland's a decent team. They're not as bad as maybe I thought they were. And that's not to say they're a good team, because they're definitely not. But they actually have a pretty good defense. Like, if you actually look at the numbers versus Baltimore, despite scoring 40 points, they were held in check through 3 quarters. It wasn't until the 4th quarter where things didn't go their way. And against Cincinnati and Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, they scored like 17 points and had like 150 total yards. This Browns defense is good. They got dudes who are playing well. Myles Garrett made life hell for Jordan Love. I mean, the entire defensive line made Jordan Love's life absolute misery, just surrounding him, getting after him. I mean, it was all game long. They could not run the ball at all. The Packers offensive line got manhandled out there by this Browns defensive line. And look, they made mistakes late. They made bad mistakes. That Jordan Love interception was pretty inexcusable. And it allowed this Browns team that hadn't scored a single point through 3 quarters to score 13 late in the game. And Green Bay made mistakes. They left the door open, and eventually Cleveland got things going. Cleveland has things they need to figure out. And I think the first thing I would do if I was Cleveland would be start Dylan Gabriel. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I would actually legitimately start Dylan Gabriel. Quinshad Judkins is showing life. This defense looks great right now. And this offense has pieces. 2 good tight ends, Jerry Jeudy, Cedric Tillman. I still don't feel great on this offensive line, but there's pieces here. They just got to find a functional quarterback, and Cleveland might be a team that sneakily wins 6 or 7 games this year. Like, they're a competitive team that probably should have beat Cincinnati in week 1, but they didn't. This is a bad loss for Green Bay. Bad loss. You should not lose to Cleveland. I apologize to Cleveland. I know I was just kind of gassing you up there. Green Bay was a team that I was hyping up as the best team in the NFL or best team in the NFC to be exact, and they embarrassed me this week. They are going to fall down my power rankings quite a bit. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm panicking about Green Bay now all of a sudden. No, I don't think it's that extreme. They had a bad loss versus a bad team. They'll bounce back this week. They have the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys defense hot butt juice. That Packers offense is going to absolutely destroy them. So don't worry if you're a Packers fan. Do not worry. Our last noon game, we have the New York Jets losing to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This game was a blowout until it wasn't. Until the New York Jets went out, blocked a field goal, went down, scored. Well, blocked the field goal, then scored off of that, and took the lead late in the game. You had Aaron Glenn dancing on the sideline, going crazy. It was a crazy switch up. I mean, just insane. And then Baker Mayfield locked in, went down the field, kicked the field goal, and they won the game. All that said, Tampa Bay dominated for 3 quarters, fell asleep at the wheel, woke up with a minute left, went down, scored, and won the game. Kind of the story of the game here. There's going to be some conversation about Tyrod Taylor should be the starting quarterback over Justin Fields. I don't necessarily disagree, but I think you kind of pigeonholed yourself to give Justin Fields the job because of the contract, because it's 2 years, and just because you're a rebuilding team. It wouldn't make a ton of sense to go with Tyrod Taylor because he is a little bit older. Or not a little bit, he is older, but yeah, there will be some conversations there. Garrett Wilson had a nice game. I liked the way they operated in the fourth quarter. They showed some life. They showed some fight, which is a positive sign for this team. For Tampa Bay, just lock in for 4 quarters. They did the same thing versus, I want to say Carolina. I want to say Carolina did a similar thing where they, showed a little bit of life. Oh, sorry, not Carolina. I apologize. I'm thinking about a different game. Sorry, I've been recording all day long. This is my third long video today, but regardless though, Tampa Bay, they get the win. Just stay awake for 4 quarters and you should be fine. All right, let's move over now to our 3 o'clock games. The LA Chargers get the victory over the Denver Broncos. This is a interesting game to talk about because Denver, through 3 quarters, was playing good football. And then they kind of, they had the rope, they were moving the rope, they were getting things going, and then they let go of the ropes. I'm worried about this Denver Broncos offense. They're so hit and miss right now. They will have a drive where everything's clicking, and they're moving the ball effectively, efficiently, and they look clean. Everything's good. And then they'll have 2 or 3 drives in a row where they just can't do nothing. They just don't have any rhythm on the offensive end. And it starts off with Bo Nix. Bo Nix doesn't look that good right now. He's trying to get the ball a bit more downfield, but he's just not processing the field well enough right now. He looks timid. He looks a little bit scared to put the ball in tight windows. And that's a tough thing. He's also missed a couple throws too. The running game got going with this one in J.K. Dobbins, 11 carries for 83 yards. So there's things to like about this offense. Their offensive line still looks pretty good here too, but they got some work to be done here. 7 punts on the day, 2 of 13 on third down, 10 penalties too. Got to clean that up. Only 9 first downs for the entire game. They got to figure it out. As for LA, I thought LA played better than what the score would indicate. They scored 23. I feel like they should have scored more. They had opportunities, they had chances, but 2 turnovers killed them. They punted the ball 5 times. The offensive line, very banged up right now. Very banged up. I'm a little worried about that. Gave up 5 sacks, 8 of 17 on third down. Want to be better there. But they won the game. This was a great opportunity for Denver to steal one. They did not. LA handled their business. I'm not worried about LA. I am a little worried about Denver. I'm a little bit worried about them. As for LA, they look like one of the best teams in the AFC. The Chiefs did get the win, so they might be starting to put some things together, but the LA Chargers seem like the favorite to win that division right now. By the way, LA has just handled their business during this stretch of AFC West games. You had the Chiefs in week 1 in Brazil. They beat them. You have the Raiders in week 2. They beat them. This week, the Denver Broncos, they beat them. And when you look at their remaining schedule, it's not difficult. They have the Giants next week, Commanders the week after, Dolphins, Colts, Commanders, Colts will be tough. Vikings are also be tough. Tennessee, Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, Vegas. I mean, down the stretch, it does get quite difficult because you have Philly, Kansas City, Dallas, Houston, Denver. It does get harder, but man, it wouldn't surprise me if this Chargers team is legitimately, I don't know, heading into week 13, 11-1 maybe. 10-2 if they have the bye week before them, and they have a good chance of being really good. So shout out LA, big win here versus the Denver Broncos. Let's move on Seattle versus the New Orleans Saints. I'm starting to lose my voice. I apologize, everybody. Seahawks win 44-13. This game was not close. It was just not close. Special teams, defense, and just the offense making a lot of plays. 2 touchdowns for Sam Darnold, 2 touchdowns for Kenneth Walker, a touchdown for Jackson Smith and Jigba. Cooper Kupp made some plays down the field. 320 total yards. They played clean football. That was the case. New Orleans, on the other hand, they did not play clean football. Special teams was not good for them. Spencer Rattler, I thought was fine. 28 of 39 for 218, 1 touchdown and 1 pick. I thought he was okay, but Spencer Rattler's not a good enough quarterback to overcome a massive deficit. I mean, it was 21-0 after the first quarter. Spencer Rattler's not the quarterback that can come back and make plays. They did throw Tyler Shock in there late, 0 for 2. Didn't really do anything special, so we'll see. This was just kind of a disappointing performance from the entire Saints team, not just the offense, but definitely special teams and definitely defense, because they looked so competent in weeks 1 and 2 just to come out in week 3 and not look very competent. So tough one here for New Orleans. As for Seattle, you handled your business. You dominated from start to finish. This is a game you could build off of. They struggled in week 1. They got back on track in week 2. This one, it looked like they are staying on track, and they're going to continue to get better. There's some things to clean up. 3 of 9 on third down, 8 penalties for 70 yards. Had to punt the ball twice, but offensive line played well. They ran the football well enough, and they made some plays. So things to work on for New Orleans, things to work on for Seattle, but all in all, pretty set game right there. Not a ton to talk about. Next up, Dallas Cowboys, Chicago Bears. My Dallas Cowboys got sunned. They got sunned. Let's talk about Chicago. Chicago, Caleb Williams, big game. 19 of 28 for 298, 4 touchdowns. It was a lot of explosives. A lot of explosive plays downfield. They had a flea flicker. They almost had another one where they did some crazy shenanigans in the backfield. And they exposed this Dallas Cowboys defense. They didn't run the football well. If there's one thing you want to take away from the Dallas Cowboys, 13 for 33 for DeAndre Swift, 6 of 16 for Kyle Monangai. But the explosive plays down the field to Rome Odunze, Luther Burden, Colston Loveland, I mean, they really hurt the Dallas Cowboys defense. But on the flip side, Dallas, they moved the football. They moved the football very well. They had a fumble in plus territory. Dak threw an interception, a bad interception. He had 2 interceptions on the day. One was not his fault. That was on Pickens. One probably was his fault. He need to put more air on that football. But they moved the ball. If they don't have those turnovers, and if those turnovers end up in field goals or touchdowns, I mean, it's a whole different ballgame. Dallas defense is just stinky. They suck. This defense sucks from top to bottom. It's a coaching issue, and it is a damn personnel issue. They just do not have the guys. They don't have a single pass rusher who you can consistently rely upon. They don't have one. They don't have a linebacker who's a difference maker. Maybe DeMarvin Overshone's the guy. They feel pretty mid at linebacker. But worst of all, their secondary sucks. It is not good at all. They don't look like they have ever spoken a word to each other. I mean, there's no communication back there. The amount of times that a receiver is butt naked open, just nobody within 10 yards of them. It happened multiple times in this game. Now, the Rome Odunze one, Trevon Diggs slipped. Trevon Diggs looks terrible, guys. He does not look good. Neighbors punked him last week. This time it was Rome Odunze. He got out with an injury. I think his time in Dallas is over with. I think Dallas will cut him at the end of this year. He's been bad. Now, in fairness, they are missing Deron Bland, but I don't think Deron Bland is this elite savior of this Dallas Cowboys defense. This defense sucks. They got to figure it out from a personnel perspective, which guy covers the best. And they got to find a way to bend but not break. Because right now, they're bending, they're breaking, they're giving up explosive plays. The only good thing I can give them, they're stuffing the run better, which is ironic because in years past, they've been well against in coverage, creating turnovers, good against the pass, but so bad against the run. Now it's the opposite, where they're competent against the run, but can't stop anything in the pass game. It's just a terrible defense. Dak and CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens are going to have to carry this offense. But if they have more than 3 punts, it's tough because this defense can't stop nothing right now. So big win for Chicago. Good job just bouncing back for Chicago. This was a much needed bounce back game and just some proof in the pudding of Ben Johnson and that system and Caleb Williams. As for the Dallas Cowboys, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about them right now. This defense sucks. They're going to lose a lot of games because this defense is absolutely terrible. All right, next up, Arizona versus San Francisco. Arizona offense, not good. It is just so somewhat predictable, boring, poorly managed. I don't really know the words else to describe it. Their offense just lacks imagination. There's something about this offense they got to get right. It's just not a good offense. They do not target Marvin Harrison enough. They do not target Trey McBride. The run schemes look boring. They don't look creative. This Cardinals offense is a huge issue for them. Defensively, they're actually pretty good this year. They got dudes who can play and go. Gannon's doing a great job, but they got to get this offense going. There's too much talent there to be scoring 15 points. I know the Niners have a good defense, but they weren't even good the past 2 weeks versus two not good teams in New Orleans and Carolina. This is a bad loss. If you are a Cardinals fan, man, this sucks because you have this great defense now that's balling, but an offense that can't score points. I mean, Kyler Murray's got to play better than this. He just has to play better. And the offensive line, run game, coordinators, they just got to do a better job. This is a bad Cardinals offense that they're not as bad as Houston. Don't get that twisted. But they're just not good right now. They have to play better. On the flip side, hey, San Francisco's 3-0, and Brock Purdy's played, I think, 2 games. George Kittle's played like 1 quarter. This 49ers team is actually pretty good. They're better than I might even give them credit. Now, in fairness, they're going up against mediocre teams. I don't know if they've really beaten a good team yet. Seattle's pretty good, but they've won games now with Mac Jones. Shout out. I think Mac Jones has done a good job. They need Brock Purdy back when they get into, tougher matchups. They're going to need Kittle back, but man, they're going to get more firepower. They're going to add Ayuk. They're going to add Kittle. They're going to bring back Brock Purdy. Christian McCaffrey's making plays right now. The defense is balling. This Niners team, they might be pretty good. I don't know if I'm ready to call them a top 10 team yet, but top 13, top 14, entering top 10 conversations, I can hear it out. Big win for San Francisco. They get the win here. As for Arizona, I'm a little bit worried about that offense. The defense is good, but that offense scares me. All right, last up, let's talk about the New York Giants versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Final score is 22-9, and I don't know. It's just one of those things where this Giants team, they'll have a great offensive performance, but the defense sucks, like last week. Or they'll have a game where the defense is balling, but the offense can't move the ball. And that happened this week. I mean, it's just, they just can't get it right. Now you had fans booing Russell Wilson, cheering Jackson Dart. Is it Jackson Dart time? I'm going to say no. I still think rushing Jackson Dart out there would be a bad decision. But it might be time sooner rather than later because this Giants team is 0-3 and their schedule gets difficult, very difficult really soon. This Giants team does not have a ton of winnable games in the future, and Brian Dable's job is 1,000% on the line. Russell Wilson played bad football today. He was forcing balls down the field. He got sacked multiple times, threw 2 interceptions. The only thing that kind of gave this offense any sort of life was Cam Scatterboo. Man, he is a fireball. 10 carries for 60 yards and a touchdown, 6 catches for 61 yards. Man, this guy needs a ton more work. He is an absolute wrecking ball. And, man, he's looking really good for this Giants team. And he's the one guy that gives this team some swag, some energy. I mean, outside of Malik Neighbors, I don't want them to start Jackson Dart. But it feels like they might be forced to, and it sucks because he might be thrusted in there against some high-level competition, which is quite scary. On the flip side, I mean, the Chiefs look like basically the exact same team they've been the past couple weeks. They lack weapons on the outside. They can't run the football, but they just do enough. If there's any positive thing that has come from these first 3 weeks in which the Chiefs have not looked great, they're 1-2, lost against Philly, lost against LA. The final score is 22-9. It wasn't that close throughout most of the game. Outside of that, though, Tyquan Thornton's emergence has been really good. And when you throw Tyquan Thornton out there with his size, and then you get Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy back, I could see this passing game actually picking some steam. I still think this running game is bad. Maybe it gets better with the passing game being better, but that is still to be determined. Defensively, they got after the quarterback. Russell Wilson was running all game. some turnovers. Defensively, they're really good. This Giants offense just sucks. That's the best way to put it. So yeah, that is my thoughts on week 3 of the NFL season. I apologize. My voice is dying right now. I will be back Thursday with my predictions, maybe potentially with a special guest. We'll wait and see on that one. So keep an eye out for that. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. We just passed 500 subscribers. We're on the road to 1K. Hit the like and subscribe button, and peace out.